Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Not just for the first season preview, but also for the first preview as world champions. Are you so excited? Sorry, that's just all the rival fans. Isn't it hilarious how they just hear the truth and they get so triggered? What's up, guys, and welcome to the Blues and Stripes. So today we are going to preview the first match of the season up against Crystal Palace. And I don't know about you all, but I'm feeling pretty confident going into this match. I know Palace did give Liverpool a game, and I'm sure they're going to give us a game as well. I don't think they're going to be pushovers by any stretch of the imagination. However, I'm feeling pretty confident in where we are as a team. I think looking at the players we have, even just the fact hearing Chalobah is fit to play, it does make me feel like we've got a pretty solid chance here of handling our business, getting a good, comfortable win at home, and starting the season how we want to start it. So first of all, I will once again give my predictions for what I think the team is going to be, and this is where we'll see how Maresca is going to be, because obviously last season I was not as big of a fan of him. I feel like a lot of his personnel decisions didn't make a whole lot of sense, and it did feel like during that rough period, we were trying to do a little too much of playing out of the back when we really shouldn't be. It felt like our overall performances just became very stale, like his tactics switched from trying to get the ball down the field as quickly as possible to trying to make sure we kept at least 60% of our possession. And it was just not fun to watch, and we were also not winning. So hopefully we don't see a whole lot of that this season. Hopefully we see a lot of what we saw in the Club World Cup as well as in our first two preseason matches, where it does feel like the overall mindset of the team is to get the ball down quickly, try to move it around, try to find the openings, and try to be creative with it. And on top of that, we have a good finisher up top that can put these chances away. But looking at the lineup, so we haven't picked up another center back yet. There are reports saying that the club are happy with the center backs we have, which I don't know if that's true or not. If it is true, then that's concerning, considering we don't really have any left center backs at the moment because Colwell's out injured. Badiashile is not a good option. Vega, I know some people think is going to be a good option, but I think I said this before, last season when he played in the Premier League, he was way too slow. He was not up to the pace. I think Conference League was a lot more his pace, so I just don't think he's ready to step in there, and Hato is kind of the same thing. I think he's shown some good qualities in the preseason matches, but I don't expect him to be our starting left center back. So while I do think Chalobah can fill that role for now, we do need to get somebody that's going to step in there and be that left-sided center back. And even if it's only a loan deal, I think that would be fine too, because we don't necessarily need to replace Colwill. I'm hoping he can come back and still be just as strong, if not stronger, but that's not going to be until next season. So a loan move would probably be for the best. Just somebody that can fill that role for this season and make it to where we don't have to rely on somebody that's used to playing on the right side, having to fill in on that left side. But starting at keeper, obviously Sanchez is going to start. As I said in the transfer video, I think he's a good enough option to be comfortable there, as long as we're not trying to use him for his feet all the time, and as long as he's not being forced to try to pass out of the back. As long as he feels comfortable going long when he needs to, I think we'll be fine. As a keeper, he makes a lot of good saves, so I don't feel uncomfortable with him in that sense either. So yeah, I'm expecting a good performance from him. Moving on to right back, pretty sure James will play as long as he's fit. If he's not fit, then obviously Gusto will step in. But James had a good preseason, had a good summer as well. So hopefully he can stay fit. He's starting to look a lot more like the player that we remember seeing from before his injury problems. Center defense, Tosin and Chalobah are pretty much the only two regular starters that we have. I think Achimpong is an option right now. I'm assuming if Fofana is fit, because apparently his is still up in the air, but Badiashile is still out. So if Fofana is fit, I do expect him to be on the bench. I didn't talk about him in my transfer video, honestly, because I just don't rate him anymore. Personally, I was not impressed with him last season. I think he had a lot of gaps in his game that he wasn't really learning from when he was making mistakes. And then on top of that, he's been injured at least every season since we've gotten him, so I don't trust him to stay fit. So I think in my mind, I don't even count him as an option this season. But there's a chance he could come back in, and Maresca did seem to like him last year, so there's a chance he could play. But I don't think he's going to be fully fit to start. So it'll definitely be Chalobah and Tosin. And then on the left side, obviously, it's going to be Cucurella. Into the midfield, expecting Caicedo and Fernandez. Both of them have done very well in that spot, and I think they found a good balance with Cucurella stepping into the midfield and Fernandez pushing up a bit more. The midfield is probably our strongest area on the pitch last season and this season, so I have no problems with either of them in there. Into the front four, I do expect it'll be the same front four that we saw against AC Milan. Neto on the right, Palmer in the middle, Gittins on the left, and then Pedro up top. I think at the moment that is our strongest front four. Now with Esteval on the right, he has shown a lot of quality in preseason, and I think if he comes in, does well, if Neto's maybe not finding the right passes, if he's not scoring, and Esteval's coming off the bench and doing that, I think there's a chance he could overtake that position at some point. But from the start, Neto has more experience. He's a little bit more mature in the way he plays. He works back really hard to win the ball. So I think his overall performances are going to help the team more than Estival's at the moment. But I could see at some point this season Estival coming in and taking that position from him. But it's going to be interesting to see the two of them sort of fighting over that place. I don't think they look at it that way because it does feel like there's a good togetherness about this team right now. Those two are technically competing for that spot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this season. For Gittins, obviously, he doesn't have a whole lot of trouble right now. Neto could slide over to that left side if needed, but until we get Garnacho or Simmons in, Gittins really is our best option, really our only option, because I don't think George is up to this level right now. Up top, obviously, it's only Delap and Pedro right now. Still waiting to see whether Jackson's going to leave. If he does, I do think we are going to need another third option. Not necessarily somebody that is ready to go, but I think a third option will be useful this season for us because there's always a chance of injuries. And if there is one injured, you don't want to have the other one having to play every match. So I think having 3 strikers is going to be a good option for us, especially considering Pedro has a lot of versatility to his game. So having 2 other strikers outside of him, it means he can play somewhere else in the front line, and you have a striker up there too. So that's why, in my opinion, I don't think getting rid of Jackson's a good idea unless we make bank on him. And I still do think Jackson has a high ceiling that we've not seen the potential yet because he hasn't had the competition to push him. But center attacking mid, this is where, as I said in the transfer video, Palmer's our only option, but Estival can slide in there. Pedro, I think, can slide in there. Fernandez can push up, and we can play Isugo or Santos in there. So we do have a lot of options. Lavia is out injured, so he won't be playing either. But that is my predicted starting 11. It's kind of what I want to see too. I think that starting 11 we saw against AC Milan is very strong, but I would like to see the subs improve for this season, because last season it was just about like for like. There was not really a whole lot changing in the second half when Maresca would bring players on, at least in the second half of the season. I think first half he did okay. The second half of the season, it was very much just wing on, wing off, midfielder on, midfielder off. There wasn't really anything changing about the way we were playing. I think that's where having some players with versatility like Pedro, like Estival, like Fernandez, I think those guys can give you another option so that way he can make changes if needed. Plus, I think all the players in the different positions, they play differently as well. So Neto and Estival are not the same type of winger. Delap and Pedro are not the same type of striker. So I think it provides some useful options for us going forward if we need to change up the way we're trying to attack. But as I said, expected lineup, hopeful lineup, pretty much the same. Subs-wise, I mean, it's really going to depend on how the game's going, injuries, all of that stuff. Obviously, I would like to see Estival get his chance, as well as Delap, Sugo, Santos, both of them. Basically all of the new guys that we brought in. I'd like to see them get a chance to play, but it's going to depend a lot on fitness levels and whether we need to make tactical or formational adjustments. As far as what I'm expecting from the match, I do expect a win. I'm hoping we just comfortably handle it 3-0, something like that. I would like a clean sheet. But I do expect that we get this win here. I think while Palace is a good team, and I think they showed in the Community Shield that they're capable of hurting the big teams the way they like to set up, I think the way we play and the amount of versatility we have in this team, it allows us to play in a few different types of ways that we can hurt some of the big teams, but we can also control a lot of these games against the smaller teams and make sure we put away our chances as well. So we're very well set up to start the season well. I will say I'm doing this preview as Liverpool is up 2-0. And to be honest, I'm more upset with Bournemouth because, I mean, I predicted Liverpool to win the league. I think they can grind out results really well. I'm more disappointed with how bad Bournemouth is at defending. I mean, both goals, just awful defending. So I may have to take back my prediction of them finishing possibly top 7. But I think that about does it for this preview, so let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you expect to see? What do you hope to see? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea previews, reviews, and talks. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out.